Most of the problems we face in relationships and dating come from the idea that we should not expect commitment early on. And so we don't know where we stand with people. We don't know what to expect from them. We don't know if this is a relationship worth investing in or if it's just a waste of our time. And in this video, I want to talk about how do you know when someone is committed? How do you know if this is a relationship worth investing in or if it's just a waste of your time? Now, many of you have probably heard me say this, but it's so important, I don't mind saying it over and over again, is commitment is not something that comes down the road in a relationship. Commitment is something that you can see and recognize from very early on. And when you want a committed relationship, it's so important that you know the signs of commitment and you know how to recognize them. Because if you don't, what'll happen is you'll be investing in this person and just continuing to give them your life and your heart and your time and your energy and your attention and thinking that if I just give enough to this relationship, they're going to eventually want the same thing and they're going to eventually fall in love. But if you fundamentally want different things, you're never going to change that person's mind. You're going to beat yourself up trying to get them to want to be with you. And ultimately what's going to happen is you're going to destroy your self-esteem and your self-image because you're going to feel like you're not good enough for this person. But it was never really about that. It was never really about you being not good enough. It was that you got wrapped up with somebody who wasn't committed and you didn't know how to recognize that. And so you wasted all your time and ended up getting dragged through the mud by this relationship. And none of that ever should have happened. So I want to talk about what commitment looks like. And commitment is something that you can recognize very early on. Now, the first few things I'm going to say are just really simple. Somebody who is making the effort to get to know you, somebody who's calling, who is actively asking you out or trying to get together, who is actively making plans, who is actively coming up with ideas of how you can see, how you can get together, how you can spend time together. Somebody who's calling, they want to talk to you, they want to text, they're, hey, how's your day going? Things like that. Somebody who is making the effort is committed. They are showing you from the beginning, even when you don't know each other that well, they're showing a genuine interest, a genuine desire to get to know you. And it's not like they come on really strong in the beginning and then they change and they're not that way anymore, but they're consistent with it. They continue to make that effort over time. You see, you might have somebody who comes on really strong in the beginning, so you don't want to fall for that right away. But what you want to do is be like, okay, this is interesting. And you sit back and you watch and you see how they are over time. See, don't give them everything they want right away, but they put in some effort, you put in some effort, and you have this kind of back and forth while you watch and see if they're just coming on strong to try to get something from you or if they're going to be consistent over time. So they're going to make the effort and they're going to make the effort consistently. Now, another thing is after you've been seeing someone for a few months, you want to talk about it and say, where is this going? I want to know, is this a relationship I should continue to invest in? Or is this just something that is not really going anywhere? How do you feel about this? A committed person will be honest with you. If they laugh it off, if they don't want to talk about it, if they try to just brush it under the rug and be like, oh, don't worry about that. Let's just have a good time. Let's just see where this goes. What they're showing you is they don't want to make a commitment. They're showing you that they're just interested in getting the benefits of the relationship that you have without having to put in the work or the effort to earn those benefits. So somebody who's committed, they'll be honest with you. They'll say, listen, I really like you. I'm enjoying this. I would like this to go somewhere. I'd like to continue exploring this. Yes, I do. They'll even want to be exclusive after a few months of being together because they're going to recognize that this relationship is worth something and it's worth putting some effort into. It's worth putting some commitment into. Somebody who likes to keep things vague, like you don't know what to expect. They don't want to be held accountable to anything. They don't want to have to answer for anything. They don't want to have to own up to anything. Somebody like that, or somebody who even tries to push you away because you start asking these questions and it makes them uncomfortable, they are showing you that they're not committed. And this is so important because what happens is when you get wrapped up in a relationship with someone like this, when you get tied up with them and you get into them and you want it to work and you get that desire to be with them going, and believe me, I know how it feels. And you'll start to see these signs, but what you'll do is you'll start to make justifications for them. And you'll start to explain, well, it's because of this or it's because of that. But the truth is you don't want the same things. You don't want to see these signs and explain them away. What you want to do is you want to know what commitment looks like. You want to recognize it from very early on, from your first few dates. You can recognize that they're showing up with commitment or they're showing up very casually. And when you see it, you don't want to make excuses for it. You don't want to justify it. You don't want to excuse it away or pretend like it's not happening or look the other way from it. You want to look at it and say, look, this person, I like them, I'm into them. I would love if it went somewhere, but I'm not seeing the signs of commitment here. And you can even ask them about it. And you can even say, listen, I'm not seeing the signs of commitment, and that's okay. If you're not into this, I'm okay with that. But I want to know, where do you stand? A committed person will be honest with you. If somebody is just playing games, beating around the bush about it, they don't want to answer, they don't want to own up to it, they're showing you that they are not committed. And I'd like to invite you to join us for a crash course in love, because if this is something that you're going through or you've been through in your recent relationships, and if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that's the case. If you've made it 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in, I'm going to assume that that's the case. I'd like you to join us for a crash course in love, because what we're going to talk about in that class is how you recognize commitment and how you have these conversations. How do you bring this stuff up to somebody? How do you know if this is a relationship worth investing in or if it's a waste of your time? How do you get clear on this? And what do you do if you're in this situation? How do you handle it? How do you move forward? We're going to be covering all this stuff. A Crash Course in Love is our 4-week breakthrough course. It is a profound transformation in your dating and love life. And I would absolutely love to have you there. You can register at myconsciousrelationship.com. That's myconsciousrelationship.com. Take advantage of this opportunity to make a profound difference in your love life, because when you don't break through these limiting ideas about dating, you repeat the same cycles over and over, and it will literally cost you years of your life. So I'd absolutely love to have you join us. Again, you can register at myconsciousrelationship.com. Thanks so much for watching the video today, and I hope I see you in a Crash Course in Love.